Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Obviously my first video of 2024, so Happy New Year. Pretty late to you guys. It's been a few days now, right? But I wanted to come back and I wanted to make this video because I saw this on Twitter the other day and it just kind of confused me as to why this even happened in the first place, right? This is one of those instances of a video where like, yeah, let's be real. This probably isn't like a world-ending situation or something crazy, right? Like, I mean, I know a lot of people online have seen this and like the first thing they've said is like, this woman should be fired and whatnot. I'm not really here to call for her job or anything like that. I don't really think that's where I want to go with this whole thing, but I mean, I definitely want to throw my 2 cents in on it because this is just stupid. And also, I just want to say this really quick. I know for like the last month or two, I've been using pretty much exclusively Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Definitive Edition, or as we like to call it here, Defective Edition on the channel. And I know that's probably getting pretty tiring to constantly see that. The only reason that that's happening is because I played through the entire game all at once, pretty much. I recorded the entire damn playthrough, and I've been sitting on like 7 to 8 hours of footage just waiting to be used, right? So, in the meantime, I am working on getting gameplay from other games to kind of like be able to mix it up. But yeah, I was just trying to run through that as fast as I could just so I could, you know, get that cleared up. But anyway, so a pretty, I would say, heartwarming news story kind of came out the other day, and I thought it was pretty cool, right? And it revolves around the game Tetris. So, Tetris, everyone knows what that is who watches this channel, I feel like. You know, it's been around for fucking 45, 50 years, something crazy, right? One of the oldest mainstream games. I'm pretty sure it's technically also the best-selling game of all time, even still to this day, just because of like how many machines it runs on and whatnot. But so, a news story came out a few days ago where this 13-year-old kid had basically become the first player to beat Tetris in the world, right? Now, to clarify, he didn't actually fully beat the software ending of the game. So basically, like, from what I know, Tetris has like 255 of these levels, right? And nobody has ever reached level 255 because it's just so wildly difficult, and the game is known to like crash before you can get to that point. And so this 13-year-old kid, you know, he plays Tetris, he does it on a stream or a video or whatever, and he gets to like level 165, which is further than anybody had ever been able to get. The game finally crashes and resets. So technically he's credited with winning the game because nobody has ever gotten that far and forced that condition. And so, you know, he's being credited with being like the first person to get this far in Tetris, right? To like beat Tetris or whatever, as people are calling it. Technically not a win, you know what I mean? But ultimately, it's the furthest anybody's ever gotten, right? And it's a 13-year-old kid. It's not like this is some 35-year-old dude who's been playing the game his whole life. This is a child, so it's just like a nice little news story, right? Where it's like, oh, I feel happy for the kid, right? He did something pretty cool. You know, yeah, he didn't cure cancer. He didn't, you know, put man back on the moon, but I mean, he did something nobody else has been able to do. You gotta give him credit for that, I feel like, right? It's a fucking video game, okay? How many 13-year-old boys do you know play video games? And that's what really confuses me about this whole thing here, because this fucking, like, Sky news anchor has just decided to, like, torch this kid live.
Now, Tetris has long been touted as a video game that just can't be beaten because it just goes on and on.
Oh my God!
Well, 13-year-old American Willis Gibson has technically proven that wrong. He beat the original Nintendo version of the game by reaching such a high level that the coding froze. That left the program unable to generate any more falling blocks. As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal. Speaking of fresh air, let's get a look at the weather.
So that's the clip I want to talk to you guys about, right? It just, the whole thing doesn't make any sense, right? Because she's just being so fucking bitter and so negative. And like, for what reason, truthfully, you know what I mean? I would almost understand where she was coming from if this was like some fucking 46-year-old jobless guy who has like dedicated his entire existence to being the first guy to ever beat Tetris. And like, you know, he just has spent his whole life doing nothing but playing and whatnot. I would kind of understand being like, hey bro, this is not a life goal. You need to fucking enjoy the other aspects of life. You need to go outside. You need to do something else, right? But this is a 13-year-old child, you know what I mean? Like, what life goal is he supposed to be chasing right now? It just comes off as bitter, negative, and just truthfully fucking cruel. Like, there's really no reason for her to be lambasting this child, by the way, child, on national television. I mean, here's what I really don't understand about this, right? These fucking news people, they seem to think this is such a stupid and pointless accomplishment or whatever, right? If you think that it's not worth talking about, or you guys like are in agreement that this is not a life goal or whatever, then what the fuck are you talking about it on the news for? That's what I really don't understand about the news. And that's really what situations like this have done for the news for me, right? What old women like this don't understand is when it comes down to basically accessing information, kids that 13-year-old's age, they're not turning on fucking Sky News and watching this old bimbo give her opinion, right? They're turning on that little Optimus, you know what I mean? They're turning on fucking whoever's on YouTube or whoever's on whatever they're watching on TikTok. That's who they're watching for entertainment and news these days. Now, you can make the argument that that's maybe not a good thing, that they're paying attention to people like this. But ultimately, I mean, let's be real. All of these news organizations are a bunch of fucking billion-dollar outlets for the elites to program you with whatever beliefs that they want you to have as well. What's really the fucking difference, you know what I mean? The only difference in reality is when I give my brain-dead moronic takes, I actually mean it. And so, you know, they're in a dying medium, they're in a dying job field, they're constantly losing ground to the new age, and the only thing that any of these people can ever do is show constant disdain for the new age, right? I think it's because they know they're subtly being replaced, and 13-year-olds, yeah, instead of watching the fucking news, they'd rather go play Tetris, they'd rather go play Fortnite, you know what I mean? But it's kind of, I feel like, always been that way, right? It's just different now because, I mean, obviously our generation has more technology and shit. But, like, this is the problem with mainstream media and with, like, watching the fucking news through the TV, right? Is they will try to find positive stories every once in a while, like this. This is a positive story. A 13-year-old just did something that grown men have never been able to accomplish. Nobody has ever been able to accomplish. And what the news will do is they find these positive stories and they try to find a way to spin them fucking negative. Like Fox News and CNN and whatnot, they just find news stories and they try to make them negative. Because that's all the news is it's people just sitting there and being miserable about whatever the fuck is happening in the world right this second. There's literally no other reason to watch the news anymore other than to be brainwashed and politically programmed or to have your IQ lowered by a bunch of negative, just stupid shit. That's the only way any of these programs can boost their ratings, is by just being negative assholes about realistically not that super important shit. Like, I don't think the 13-year-old kid, like, feels like his life is over, right? I don't think this kid beat fucking Tetris and, you know, he was like, actually, I was thinking, Mom and Dad, maybe I won't go to college, you know, maybe I won't become that biochemist I wanted to become, right? I think I'm gonna just sit at home and play Tetris all day. Like, that's not what's happening here. That's not what's even being insinuated here. But yet we're, like, lambasting a child on national television for doing something, right? This is what I also really don't get about older people, right? Is like, they'll say shit like, oh, well kids, they need to go outside, right? These video games, they're not a life goal. But then you go outside and these people are the same fucking people who have ruined going outside. Like, you see this 13-year-old beat Tetris and then the news anchor will sit there and fucking cry about, oh, he needs to go outside, it's not a life goal. But then if this kid and his buddies went and got some fucking skateboards and started skateboarding down the sidewalk of the neighborhood, she would call the fucking police on them because they're outside creating a noise disturbance and they're riding their skateboards where they shouldn't be. You see videos of it all the time. Or if these kids wandered down to the local basketball court at the park and they were down there fucking bouncing a basketball all day and having fun, the neighbors would call the fucking police on them because they're outside creating a noise disturbance and they're doing things you're not supposed to, not the park hours. You see this shit all the time. There's countless videos of these old bags who all the time, all they say nothing more is, well, kids need to get off the computer nowadays and they need to go outside. Those are the same people who have not only commercialized going outside to the utmost degree, but anytime you go outside and try to do so for free, they find a way to try and get you fucking arrested or harassed for it or something. But yeah, then they want to tell you to go outside and enjoy it like they did when they were children. There is no doing that anymore. And this is coming from somebody who, when I was a kid, I was outside every day playing with my friends. Old people like this who are fucking miserable about everything will always find a way to try and ruin that for you. And I just want to go ahead and point this out too. I think this is hilarious because this woman, let's say she's like a 50-year-old woman, right? A wine mom, if you will. That's what we typically call them where I'm from. These, you know, white, shoulder haircut, like constantly miserable ass women, right? Who aren't aging the best and they have a complex about that. They always say shit like this, like, oh, well, my kids, they play too much Fortnite. I don't think that's a good thing, right? And then you're like, all right, well, let's take a look at what this person does all day, right? They're talking about this kid needs to go outside. Beating video games isn't a life goal. Yet 95% of women her age spend all of their fucking free time sitting on the couch, watching Kim Kardashian, or fucking Real Housewives, or fucking Teen Mom, or whatever just brainless fucking garbage is sifted through the television waves. They sit there staring at their phone with drool running down their mouth on level 819 of fucking Candy Crush, or fucking Bejeweled, right? Scrolling through Pinterest and watching cat videos on Facebook Reels 11 hours a day. But yet their first instinct when they see children playing fucking Fortnite or Call of Duty or Tetris is to tell them to go outside and that beating video games isn't a life goal. Yeah, you ever had like an aunt or somebody who says shit like that? Yeah, go ahead and open up her phone and check her progress on Candy Crush. If that woman is anywhere past level 500, tell her she has a fucking video game addiction and she needs to go outside. That's what I don't understand about like people like this in the first place, is chances are they play some sort of video game. They participate in some sort of electronic entertainment, right? But of course, the way that they do it, you know, it's different than how the kids are doing it, right? It's different. Our game is different. Keep in mind, Tetris is like her generation's game anyway. Like, these are the same fucking people that after school would spend all their time down at the arcade putting fucking quarters in the machine so they could play games like this. But of course, you know, when your child is doing it, they want to tell them to go outside and that playing video games is not a life goal. And I just don't get this even anyway, because like I said, I don't think the kid is treating this as if it's like the biggest thing he'll ever do in his life, or if it's like the greatest thing ever. But he's a 13-year-old child. Like, I fail to see what life goal he's supposed to be chasing. He's not going to be going to college for another half decade. He's not going to be graduated out of school for the next half decade. He can't legally get a job in most places. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to be doing, you know? I mean, honestly, he's still at the perfect age in life that if he wants to play video games all day, this is the time to be doing it. Because once you're an adult and you have responsibilities and you have to go outside and whatnot, yeah, you can't do this shit all day. I don't understand. This whole video just comes across as like negative for the sake of negative, unnecessary, and it goes to show the hypocrisy of middle-aged wine moms, on top of going to show you why mainstream media is just falling apart and it's failing. And year after year, the viewerships decline as the boomer generation dies out, as Gen Z, you know, starts moving in, and we all realize that this shit is garbage and that it's not worth watching, you know? So we'll see about those life goals here in about 20, 30 years, Grandma. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, going outside and signing out. And that's a wrap on this video, but a big shout out to my Optimus Nation supporters. You guys are the real MVPs here. Your support with just $10 a month unlocks a treasure trove of exclusive videos, constantly updated, archived live stream VODs, and early access to all new uploads. Thanks for watching and see you soon.